Hey everybody, welcome back to Breakfast with Bob from Clash Miami. This is day 2. My name is Bob Babbitt, brought to you by SFuels, HOKA, Master Spas, deboer wetsuits, Premium Plus Sports, and our Challenged Athletes Foundation. Our next guest, a 2020 Paralympian in para-triathlon, hoping to punch his ticket back to go to Paris this summer. Eric McElvenny joins us. How you doing, E?
I'm doing great, Bob. Thank you so much for having me.
No problem. You know, I think one of the hardest things in sport, but the average, the thing that you normally do is you go from a mile to the 5K to the 10K to the marathon. You go from sprint triathlon to Olympic to full, because you take your speed and you go to longer distance. You're just the opposite. You had been doing Ironman for years, and the next thing you know, you decide, hey, I want to go to the Olympics. And you're going from something that is a 10-hour event to an hour event with the sprint. How hard has that adaptation been for you?
That first few years was really challenging, and I didn't want to make the jump, but I knew I would regret not trying.
Exactly.
So I was like, you know what? Let's switch up some training and let's go out and let's start getting after it and try to figure this out. And I just had mentors and coaching and just so much support that helped me move along. And all of a sudden, we were in Tokyo and getting ready to race. It was pretty cool.
And Tokyo had to be cool, but it was during COVID, and there weren't fans, and there weren't family, and all that type of stuff. So the goal now is to go to Paris, which Rio was okay for the Paralympics. Tokyo had COVID. London was unbelievable. Sydney was unbelievable. Paris is going to be unbelievable. So getting there would be pretty awesome.
Yeah, that's definitely the goal. And it's when we came back from Tokyo, so my family couldn't go. I have wife and 3 kids.
All right, yeah.
And when I got back, my wife, her first question was, why were you running so slow at the end of that race?
And which race?
It was the end of Tokyo. I hit the blue carpet and I wasn't catching the guy in front of me or the guy behind me. So I was like, well, because I knew I was getting 6th,
Right, yeah, I'm not
and then
getting a medal.
her second question, or her second statement was, I already looked it up. In 2024, the Olympics and Paralympics are in Paris, France, and I've always wanted to see the Eiffel Tower, so you're going to qualify again. Tomorrow morning, we got a big swim workout. We got to hit the gym a little bit to fix that run. We got to go do.
She's coaching now.
So her exactly. Her goal was mine though as well.
Yeah,
as soon as we finished those Paralympics, I was like, man, what an experience. I want to do that again and try to qualify and hopefully get some hardware this time. So
cool. And tomorrow. What I love about this whole weekend, we've got World Triathlon going on first thing, then we've got the para athletes, and you guys can punch your ticket to Paris by winning your category tomorrow.
Yes, yeah. I mean, there's criteria.
I know there's more. That's simplistic.
So for my category, PTS4, which is below knee and above elbow trauma injury, the winner. If a U.S. athlete wins, we punch our ticket. You get that spot to Paris. So that's there.
Yes.
And it's exciting. Something fun to race for.
So the race starts at 10.
Yeah.
So by 11, you could be going to Paris.
Yeah. We can know pretty early.
That is wild. So you're a triathlete now, but back in the day, you're a military guy. And talk a little bit about your mechanical engineering degree from U.S. Naval Academy. And Marine Corps officer, 3 tours of duty in Afghanistan, December 2011. What happened?
Oh, man, you know my story better than me. Went to the Naval Academy, graduated. That's where I met my wife. So we were both, I was Marine, she was Navy, we did 5 deployments while we were raising our first daughter.
Oh, my God.
And my last one was to Helmand Province, Afghanistan. And unfortunately, I was injured. I stepped on an IED and lost the lower part of my right leg.
Yes.
Which, it's a life-changing event.
Yeah.
But also, like, the people around me, like you, like Challenge Athletes Foundation, like my family and friends, they helped me see that as an opportunity and not just a negative thing. So it's like, okay, what's next?
When you were in the hospital, and I know somebody came to see you, another military officer, who basically put the challenge out. What did he say?
Yeah, and that's it. We challenge each other. But Max Frank, he was a captain, walked into the room, and I didn't even look down. I didn't realize he was an amputee. But he walked up to me, reached down, took his leg off, handed it to me. And I'm in the hospital bed. I'm like, oh, this is a nice pair of shoes you got. This thing's pretty light. And he said, hey, I was up and walking within 3 months. See if you can beat it.
And how quickly did you get up and walk?
I got up it was exactly 2 months to the day that we stood up for the first time. It was in parallel bars,
Yes.
right?
Oh, yeah.
So that was for 2 weeks. But yeah, it was 2 months. And it was just, man, the team, it was at the Naval Medical Center, San Diego, just, it was, it's a hard injury. And there was a lot of us going through that at that time. It was hard for my family, hard for
Of course.
friends. But the environment I was in was so healthy. You know, I just saw people, at my level. Then 2 months later, 3 months later, guy just got back from climbing Mount Kilimanjaro.
Yes.
It's like, oh wow, there's no limit on what we can do. I need a goal.
You need a goal, and so you did a sprint triathlon, and I always love this. So you're injured in 2011 in December, and by the spring you're doing a sprint triathlon.
Yeah.
By the fall, you're doing Super Frog, which is a half Ironman in soft sand. Not the best thing for a prosthetic.
That was painful. Yeah. It was good though. It felt good crossing that finish line.
And growing up, you were a football guy. And Hines Ward, being a Pittsburgh guy, you were a fan of Hines Ward. Mm-hmm. And heading towards 2013, Chocolate Milk came on board with Ironman to create the Become One program, and they put a little team together to team up and do the Ironman World Championship, which Hines Ward had committed to. And one of our big pushes at CAF was, I wanted somebody who was a below-knee amputee like Jim McLaren to come over, and you were the guy. And then, so I remember when you went to the laptop and they were just was it set up that they're just going to have a call?
Yes, it was supposed to be a call with the Chocolate Milk people, you
Yeah.
know, maybe an interview. I didn't know what to expect. It was early my time, and
Yeah.
I opened up the computer. Someone was there, and then they walked away for a second, said, "Oh, I forgot something." And then Hines Ward sits down, and he's like, "Hey, what's up, Eric? How are you?" He's like, "Hey, we're gonna do this. Are you ready?" And I was like, "Oh man, this is so cool." Now I get to reach a big goal of finishing Ironman, get to do it with someone who I've been cheering for on the football field for years, and just the support around it. One of the best coaches in the world. With
Paul Libby Frazier. Yeah.
That's a pretty good. Yeah, that was intimidating. She's such a sweet person, but she expected a lot from us.
She did. And my favorite with Paula is Hines would call her and go, "Hey, Paula, I'm lost." Because she had him on GPS, and he's in Atlanta. She's in San Diego. She says, "How am I supposed to know where you're at?" And he goes, "Oh." Anyway, then she'd say, "Well, how far did you run today?" "Oh, I ran 8 miles." Says, "No, you didn't. You ran 4." How do you know? "Because I got you on GPS. I know exactly what you're doing."
I like that when he'd call her and say, "Hey, it's raining out right now. Am I supposed to go train in the rain?" And she just laughed. And she said, "Well, do you play football in the rain?" That's good stuff right there.
Well, and also, it didn't take very long for him to start thinking, "I'm a world-class athlete. I'm going to win." Yeah. Right? He really thought, "I'm going to go win the Ironman."
Yeah.
But that's the mentality of a world-class athlete.
Oh, yeah. You have to have that.
So you finish the Ironman, and then, like we talked about, you did a bunch. What did you do, like 8 or 10 fulls?
I've done eight fulls.
And PR?
10-20.
It's pretty damn good. But you get to a point where that's when you start thinking about the Olympics.
Yeah.
And Paralympics. The first Paralympic triathlon was 2016.
Right.
So you went to the second one.
Mm-hmm.
And the fact that you've been able to do that, and now your kids they're at an age now where they sort of know what daddy does.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So if you get the parasailing, the whole family's going?
Yeah, that's the plan. Yeah, my oldest, Lupe, she's graduating high school this year. She's a senior. And then we have a fifth grader, Elise, and then
Yes.
Will is in second grade. So it would be wonderful if we qualify and we can all
Right.
go over and check it out as a family.
Who's your competition here?
Oh man, he used to be my mentee. Carson Clough is he's here. Also Eric Hultquist. He's a fast American. He's really getting great at triathlon
Yes.
as well. And from Brazil, George, we've been racing together for a while. It's awesome. But Carson had such a great year last year. And like, man, I'm so proud. He beat me, and we raced together 5 times. He beat me 5 times.
Oh.
Yes. Yeah. And so it's like I remember the first time he beat me. He's like, "Oh wow, that's." Last year I was showing you how to clip into a bike, and now you're crossing the finish line first.
Now, has anybody in your category qualified yet? Because I think they qualified last year at Worlds, right?
Yeah. No, none of us did. You
Good.
You had to
Okay.
get first or second at Worlds. I think. Yeah, we didn't get that. So.
right?
Yeah, it's a good race. This is going to be going.
Yeah, I mean, you had a lot of last year. You won in Bradenton, and you got second America's Tri-Paradise Sarasota, and a lot of sevenths, eighths, ninth to third at Yokohama. So it was a good, solid season. Obviously, you stayed actually you won. No, Bradenton was 2022. I'm sorry, but second at America's Tri-Paradise in Sarasota.
Yeah. Last year was okay. Like after Yokohama, I started having a few injuries that I was ignoring. I don't know. I just thought like a little bit of pain is okay, and it kept getting a little bit worse. So the off season, I spent a lot of time doing some physical therapy on a hamstring, and you just have to be smarter, especially since like I'm not 22 anymore.
How old are you?
I'm 40.
40.
Yeah.
That's
I
so
keep looking
cool.
at our start list, and it's like yep, oldest guy here again. But I'll tell you, like, I just have to be smart, take care of the body.
Yes.
Sometimes an hour of stretching and rolling out is smarter than an extra hour on the bike.
Yes.
And it's hard for me to convince myself that, but I have to start the race healthy if I want a good race.
Well, and being you're a motivational speaker, right? You do a lot of that. And then just seeing, like you talked about, seeing that next generation come in and knowing you can have an impact on them and find them a sport. Because you remember when that guy walked into your hospital room and gave you that challenge. How important is that to you to be doing that for the next?
That's it. That is it. And I realize it now. It's when I was transitioning out of the Marine Corps, there was a void. Like I was serving a purpose larger than myself, and then all of a sudden I wasn't.
And you're not part of a family anymore.
And yeah,
besides your own family,
the brotherhood.
Those are your brothers.
So that was hard, and there was that gap, that void, and slowly, like I started racing, which is awesome. I love it. But when I started having impact on other people's journeys and other people's lives, either through speaking or being a mentor or hopping on a call and talking to someone about, hey, this is tough, but this is what's to come. That's when I feel like I'm serving that purpose larger than myself. So it's almost everything to be able to do that. It feels better because I do the run clinics with OSER.
I was going to say that. Yes.
So I'll tell you, I've crossed a lot of finish lines, but one morning spending 3 hours teaching someone how to run that just didn't know that it was possible is more rewarding than crossing the finish line myself.
It really is.
Yeah,
because those are real victories.
Yes,
when you see
exactly.
that next kid going to taking it to another level it's my favorite thing in the world. Talk a little bit about my favorite all-time Eric McElvenny story is the handicap placard.
Yes. Yeah, and I like how you pulled this one out. We were doing an interview at some point.
We were doing an interview, and you told me.
And you said, wow, that's so powerful. But it was...
Do you use that in your motivational speaking now?
Yeah, I do. A lot of the time. A lot of people like it because we get stuck using excuses. And so my daughter was 5 when I was injured. That's Lupe.
Little Lupe,
which is a wonderful age. If you don't have a 5-year-old, go rent one for a little bit because they just tell you what's on their mind. But when I was injured, I was given a handicap placard, which makes sense, right?
Sure.
But I was stubborn. I was, aggressive right off the battlefield. I threw it away. Must have complained for the next couple months because I got another one in the mail, and I was like, I'm going to keep this. And I put it in my glove box for a rainy day. And we were living in San Diego. It doesn't rain a lot in San Diego, so I started using it on sunny days. I pull into work. It's like, oh man, I think I'll be handicapped today. Go park handicap. And one day I was with Lupe. We pull into Ralph's, a grocery store in San Diego, and there's no parking, so I zip up and pull into my handicap spot, grab my placard and hang it up. And I'm like, Lupe, let's go. And we get out of the truck, and she says, Dad, what was that magic blue ticket? And I'm like, oh, well, because Daddy only has one leg, I'm allowed to park right there when I use that ticket. And without missing a beat, she says, but Dad, you have 5 legs. You have a running leg, a biking leg, a walking leg, a water leg, and your left leg. And I thought it was funny. And I'm walking through the aisles of the store feeling guilty. And I realized, oh my goodness, I'm using my leg as an excuse when it's convenient for me. And it wasn't just with parking or not just at Disneyland, but it was with training. I'd go on a run with some buddies, maybe they're able-bodied, maybe not, but it's like if the pace picks up a little bit, I'm like, hey, you guys keep going, I got the leg thing going on. But I realized I'm using my legs as an excuse, and it was holding me back from reaching my potential. And that's when I made that decision. Like I was racing IRONMAN and 70.3s. That's when I made that decision to start racing age group. It's like I want a place in my age group.
Right.
And, I got to the point where, like, when I finish a race, it's up towards the front, but there's usually someone in my age group that beats me, it's not because of my leg.
No.
It's because they
They were
worked
better.
harder than me, and everyone has something going on. It's just, you have to figure it out, get creative, adapt, flex, and that's when you stop using excuses, that's when you start reaching your potential.
I just love that story because it has meaning across the board, and
Yeah.
especially with little Lupe saying, calling you out. Calling
Yeah.
BS on Dad. I
Yeah,
like
know.
that.
Yeah, she still does that. Huh. I have to talk to her.
How important has CAF been in this journey?
Oh my goodness! I was just telling someone about CAF, and so big. I was introduced to CAF within the month of being injured. It was probably 2 or 3 weeks after. I had already set a goal to finish an Ironman.
Yeah.
And Nico with Operation Rebound Challenge Athletes Foundation said, "That's a great goal. I'm not going to do it with you, but I'll help you get there." Right. And they helped me with just all, with gear, with mentors, with coaching, with a friendship, a family. They helped me start moving forward to that Ironman.
Yes.
And, when I crossed the finish in the Ironman, it's like, all right, thanks, CAF. And it wasn't that. It was, hey, Kay, like, what's next? You keep going. And, hey, we have a new athlete. Can you help him out?
Yeah.
And so it's just, I've been part of this family now for 12 years,
Yes.
I think. And it is, it's been amazing. Just a wonderful organization, and more than that, like, I hate calling it that because it really is. It's a family.
It is a family. Yeah, that's pretty damn special. And we just had that gala a couple of weeks ago, raised $6.7 million, and Chris Martin played, and it was unbelievable.
Yeah, it really is amazing.
Love it. Hey, so do you have a lot of European? If you qualify here, then do you need to keep traveling on the circuit to try to qualify, to try to firm up another spot for the U.S.?
Yeah. So right now, at each category, there's going to be 9 spots in the world in my category, and there may be 1 or 2 added to it because we have a very competitive category.
Right.
You're allowed to have 2 country spots. So going into this, like Carson and I, like we're already trying to figure out what races we want to do because we both want to be ranked in the top 9.
Right.
So we win 2 U.S. spots.
Yes.
And yeah, Eric's in the mix as well. So it's like get 2 U.S. spots, and then out of the 3 of us, 2 of us will get to go. So it's what I love. Because being a Marine, always being an athlete, like you're part of a team, and we're with Team USA. I don't race as Eric McElvenny, like I race as Team USA. And hey, if for some reason I'm not in Paris, I'm going to be the loudest one on the sideline rooting for who is. But I hope it's me, right?
E, thank you so much for taking time, man. Do you get to ride the bike course today?
Oh yeah, I can't wait. I'm gonna be flying on that thing.
It's so cool.
I'm so excited. This is such a cool venue. This is such a cool
best.
experience. Just grateful to be able for our race to be here.
Now you guys hang out for Saturday to watch the PTO stuff? Or you guys got to go home?
Yeah, it's unfortunately I'm flying from here to Australia because I'm gonna do a race next week.
Okay.
So I don't get to see the PTO. I'll be watching it.
Oh, you're watching it on TV?
I'll be watching it on.
Live,
I'll definitely
You'll
watch
see it on the
it. Yeah, exactly. But
yes,
we got race tomorrow and then big travel day.
What I love about this is you got the T100 on Saturday. We've got the para guys tomorrow at 10. We got the Olympic guys, Morgan Pearson, who will be with us in a little while. Those guys are racing tomorrow morning. It's a little bit of a 3-ring circus, but a lot of times you guys wouldn't be competing together, right?
Yeah,
and people wouldn't see each other. And,
exactly.
And it's all triathlon. Which is all, it's all part of the
we
same
all have
family.
that. And exactly. We know what kind of know what each other goes through. The days are a grind, and it's rewarding.
We always say that it's the sport is an equal opportunity abuser. Doesn't care if you're missing a leg, you're in a wheelchair, if you're.
That's true. No one has an easy day on that course.
No, and there's a fraternity and sorority of suffering. If somebody's better than you, you know how hard they're working.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. E, always a pleasure, bud. Thanks for taking time.
Definitely. Thank you, Bob.
Eric McElvenny has been our guest. Again, Breakfast with Bob from Clash Miami. Hold on. We will be right